How's it going, everybody of the DC Cinematic Universe and Bat Family? Because today is a little bit of a hybrid video because I want to talk about, and I want to get ahead of, even though this is kind of a little bit late, the Batman reshoots, why you shouldn't panic about that, because we all know who and what content creators and what certain websites will have a field day with entertaining that amongst the goddamn stigma of the Batman with all those bollocks rumors, to put it bluntly. And also, we need to talk about Supergirl in the Flash movie, and not only just Supergirl, we got Keaton, we got Barry, and there's just loads and loads of articles going around, pictures all over the internet. I want to give my 2 cents on that. And also, future Boba here, since as I was editing this, we literally had David F. Sandberg tweet this out, saying, don't know how long we can keep the new suits from leaking. So here's a pic I took the other day, and I want to talk about this just a little bit later. So today, a little bit of a hybrid video. Hope you guys enjoy it. I might timestamp it. You should see that on the video, or in the description, or in the top pinned comment. And other than that, thank you to all my patrons and channel members for helping fuel the content that creates this very video, or help fueling me, rather than... You get it, but thank you guys, and let's jump into number one. Also, we have to talk about potential Batman toys, which may give away something. Okay, so let's first start with talking about the Batman reshoots. Now, do not panic. First of all, I guess let's just premise this. People, as you very much so are probably already aware, but I guess I need to premise this for some people. There's a lot of rumors to do with the Batman. Literally, almost if not all of them, are complete rubbish. And it's one of those things I explained in my Debunking the Rumors video, which I seriously implore you to read, watch, because I go into, literally debunking these rumors through literal evidence that we have, talking about and further reinforcing Matt Reeves' creative vision on the Batman and how he didn't care to do it if the studios, Warner Brothers Studios that is, wouldn't let him have that. And I get into a bunch of literal interview recordings, like quotes, and you hear Matt Reeves himself talk about that, and a bunch of other factors as to why a lot of these rumors are just for clicks, engagement. This is Batman we're talking about, pillar of an upcoming WB movie that obviously... negative news will always gain attention. But now, obviously, with all of that being said and done, rumors being created, like, at this point, it's just like Matt Reeves slipped on a banana on set and blamed Robert Pattinson, and God, this just started another feud between them. That's the level we're getting to. And now, as you can imagine, reshoots. Reshoots are actually such a normal thing to do with very, very many movies, to the point of where I would go as far as saying 7, 8, even almost 9 out of 10 movies have some form of reshoots. Obviously, let me premise that. I'm not trying to sound like a glorified, omniscient film industry expert, but I trust me, I feel like I do know what I'm talking about here in terms of some do actually do a lot of rework into the narrative of the movie. They may have evaluated things differently, and that is what people are panicking about here, because this goes back to the Warner Brothers Studios interference, or are they going to do another Justice League thing to the Batman, especially with all of these rumors in No, trust me, that's not going to happen, most likely with this. And as I said, let me preface this again. Reshoots are very, very normal. Sure, you may have heard that some reshoots on other movies, which are very much so true, have reworked some of that narrative structure to actually change the outcome of the movie to be almost quite different from what they originally intended. But with this, coming from, I believe, this Daily Record website, they're saying Hollywood stars Robert Pattinson and Colin Farrell are heading to Glasgow to shoot final scenes for the long-awaited new Batman movie. Parts of the Batman were filmed there in February last year after the city was chosen as a location for the Caped Crusaders' home, Gotham City. They go on to say a source confirmed that both Pattinson, who plays Bruce Wayne, and Farrell, who plays the villainous Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin, but more accurately Oz in this film, are both expected on set in Glasgow next month. The source said there's been a lot of hype about the film following the initial filming in Scotland in February, and the crew are looking forward to coming back in mid-July. Although it wasn't an expected trip, it's expected to be mainly reshoots being done, probably some of the stunt scenes. And that, I'm glad, like, whoever this source is, and I'm not saying this is true, I'm not saying it isn't true, but by the way, the reason why I'm covering this, I don't normally cover specific website article rumors because it is such bollocks, to be honest with you, to the point of where I wanted to address it all in that video I mentioned to you. And I wouldn't have talked about this, but reshoots are a probable and likely thing, to the point of where I say I wouldn't be surprised if this is true, but what I'm grateful for in this Daily Record article is the source that they quote here isn't going out of their way to be one of those 4chan, Reddit kind of things, where, oh god, like they're actually got a, this is got a completely turn down the violence of those stunt scenes, by the way. No, he just said, yeah, it's probably some of the stunt scenes, maybe they want to make it look better or something. Like, that is probably the most likely thing when, you know, obviously filming. A lot of the time when you reevaluate the footage and maybe come up with additional ideas to think that it could, this is an important thing. Reshoots are stigmatized to be quite bad, and I don't blame fans at the same time, because there has been quite extensive reshoots with big popular franchises that people, or movies that people are really into, whether that's early DC movies. Obviously some of those have gone through extensive reshoots, so I do understand the fear here going in, especially surrounding the rumors of the upcoming Batman movie. But I hope my confidence in this is, rest assured that, you know, assuring you guys that there's nothing to worry about, and reshoots isn't necessarily a word to be stigmatized. It can actually improve the product very much so. And how do I know that, and why am I so sure? Because Matt Reeves really does have his tent pitched in terms of his own little creativity tent, and no Warner Brothers person can like breach that. And as I said, I'm gonna timestamp a part of the video of where I get into what I'm talking about exactly there, of which offers a lot of reassurance to that, and where he says, long story short here, I can do a Batman movie, but I want to do my Batman. Now, you know, he said respectfully to Warner Brothers, like, if it's their prerogative, it's their characters, and if they don't want to do it my way, that's okay too. But that doesn't mean I'm going to do it. But if we're going to do Batman, we're going to do my... And, like, that should say it all. If he signed on, there would have been that agreement. Either way, though, I think that's all I wanted to say about the reshoot stuff, if I'm being honest. You know, don't worry about it. Reshoots are normal. It's not, as far as I'm aware, extensive reshoots. The source in this article apparently is saying that it's probably just some stunty stuff. Very normal, little perfection kind of adjustments, I guess you could say, potentially. And that's all there is to it. If you know, if you're reading any articles from, you know what I'm talking about, kind of places, or certain content creators pushing a different narrative, saying, oh, well, I heard that Warner Brothers doesn't like how dark it is, and that they're probably got to readjust this scene when Pattinson does this, and now Pattinson's going to have to do this instead to make it a little bit lighter. Don't listen to it. Just don't. Please don't listen to it. Just don't. Oh my god. Now, guys, a little bit of extra Batman information that I can't be concrete on, but I just got tagged in it on Twitter from ZPN, ZPat07, but there is a watermark. I just want to be fully transparent to whoever this credit goes to, the voice of reason. Now, this is very interesting, because what happens with toy leaks is that sometimes it can give away a lot of the movie. It's a funny thing, merchandise. That's why, just to give you a bit of an example, with Baby Yoda on The Mandalorian, they delayed the merchandise for Baby Yoda so much because they knew that potential leaks of the character could happen through the toy stuff coming out. So that's why Baby Yoda took so long to come out in merchandise form when The Mandalorian first dropped. Now, I'm not saying there's massive leaks here, but in this image that I'm showing you off my Twitter feed from McFarlane Toys, and that is a toy company. Of course, there's going to be toys coming out of the Batman, or action figures, collectibles, that stuff. You know I'm going to be bankrupt after this. And the interesting thing of note here is that one of the toys mentions Batman version 1 and also Drifter. Now, Bruce Wayne Drifter. So I suppose now, I could say that is just the toy company's version of the nickname, but I'm sure the toy companies would be given a direct kind of accurate name of what said thing should be. So let me just put it this way. Bruce Wayne, in his Drifter mode, in his kind of Matches Malone type Gotham underworld, when you see him with the snood above his face in the trailer, that is known as Bruce Wayne's Drifter mode, if this is to be believed, which I think is pretty cool. It says image coming soon. I'm pretty sure this is legit, by the way, but the thing that's piquing people's interest, and I don't want to rain on anyone's parade, but I want to, I guess, play both sides of the ballpark here. It says Batman version 1. So Batman movie, 12-inch action figure, Batman version 1. Now, people are thinking, holy crap, version 1, does this mean version 2 could mean another suit? I don't necessarily think so, because don't get ahead of yourself. Let's just play it cautious. Batman version 1 action figure could mean many different things. They might have a couple of different versions of a Batman figure with slight adjustments, like the cowl off, or maybe a damaged suit after he gets blown back in the cathedral, albeit I don't think... So, let me also preface this by saying I don't think the Riddler look is going to change throughout the movie. I'm pretty sure, just, you know, through my intuition, that the Batman suit will change either. I'm not discounting that several different things will be worked on in the Batcave, like all different types of future tech, little nods to animated series things, and future Bat tech that we all know and love from the comics, and maybe even a prototype improved suit, maybe a better cowl. But that could be teased at the end of the movie for the second movie. But as far as the suit that we know and love from the trailer and what we've seen in statue figures and stuff, it's saying here Batman movie 12-inch action figure, Batman version 1. Doesn't necessarily mean that version 2, because that implies if it's version 1, there's another version. It doesn't mean that other version is another suit. I know loads of people will really want that. And maybe you're saying, like, but why are you saying that? If for all we know, it could mean that. It could, but I really don't think it will. For example, the version 2 could just be the wingsuit people were thinking of, that they were seeing, and it definitely was, like, some kind of, you know, like real-life wingsuits. There's, like, YouTube kind of Red Bull-sponsored videos where they, like, fly between stuff. It was one of those. Maybe they're trying to sell that as well, but I don't know, man. This is something that's telling me that Robert Pattinson's Batman will have that amazing suit throughout basically the whole movie. And if there is a hint of another one, I don't think it will change it all too much, if at all. It might just be the wingsuit. It might just be a subtle change. And as far as the action figure is concerned here, well, you know, I think that's all it's detailing. So I think that's all I've got to say about Batman stuff today. Would love your thoughts on that down in the comments. Obviously, I hope that a lot of you are going in the mindset that reshoots aren't something to be massively worried about. But also let me know your thoughts on the Batman version 1 12-inch action figure. And could you think that means if you're saying that there's another version, but does this other potential version mean a totally drastic different suit? I really don't think so. But let's talk about Andy Muschietti's The Flash movie. I went over it yesterday because I had a lot to say about the logo, the hidden details of the Kryptonian inscription there. Check that out if you haven't already, because it's still pretty relevant, because I'm not going to go over that information again in this video. But as you can see from everywhere is featuring freaking photos from articles from Screen Rant, Collider, these tweets that are attached. And one thing I want to start off with, I guess, because this does pertain to my video just yesterday, Tom Taylor here quoted the actual photo. I suppose this is like a little glimpse of you guys seeing it, but I trust that a lot of you have seen it anyway. In 2014, Bruno and I created a new Supergirl, Lara Lane Kent. And well, Sasha Calle as Supergirl is uncanny, and that's actually the very comic book little snippet bubble I included in my thumbnail yesterday, because as I thought it would most look like that comic book look, and lo and behold it is. Now granted, in a lot of these photos it doesn't show the cape, but that's because in lots of different shots they do have a physical cape, and that has been seen on set as well. But in shots like this they don't have it on, and they'll CGI it in, so don't worry about that. Just don't worry about that. The people love to hate already, but I'm personally really happy with this Supergirl suit. But I do have a couple of constructive criticisms, and that's just not hating at all. It's genuinely stuff that I thought, oh, they could have added this, but overall maybe they didn't for another reason that I'm about to get into. Interestingly as well, Tom Taylor did say just so nobody gets any ideas, and I have no idea about anything to do with the film, honestly. Certainly not suggesting that she's playing our Supergirl. Just saw some similarities when I saw her today. Of course, just like what I mentioned yesterday, and people were saying this isn't Supergirl. She has short hair as well. It's not always like, you know, the Cara Danvers blonde hair type. People need to get over that, because in my other video, look, lots of people were praising it, but you do get a few bad eggs just shitting on it, saying, like, look at this short-haired boy look. I, for one, think Sasha Calle looks badass, and I think that this suit looks really, really good as well. But as I said, we've also got little shots of Michael Keaton teased on the set. This is DC World's page. He's taken quite a few photos. Now, one in particular that I believe was very much so taken by him is this shot of Barry Allen and Iris West outside the London Cathedral, I believe. Now, this is the same Iris West from, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League. She's, you know, very much so maintaining her role, and it's very interesting to see these photos as well, because Barry Allen has a little ring, actually on the same index finger I'm having this little rebellion ring on. And obviously, I mean, I can't guarantee this to you, but I think already at this point, it's quite likely that he's already done the travel back in time thing, since he's already with Michael Keaton on set. So I think he's already got the suit upgrade from Ben Affleck's Batman, as I went over in yesterday's video, because I think it's Ben Affleck's Batman who gives him hit rather than Michael Keaton's, because Andy Muschietti says, and this time he gets it from his friend Bruce Wayne. I'd like to think his friend is more our Bruce Wayne rather than Michael Keaton's one. You know, the one that Ezra Miller's Barry, has already met in the events of the Justice League films. In some of these tweets that are freaking, honestly, just type in Supergirl or The Flash, there's just floods of images everywhere. The ring is very much so there, and I think in the Flash movie we're already going to get that, which is awesome. I don't know why I'm almost surprised to see that. I think it's because the CW show took so long to do anything like the Flash ring, so it feels almost premature to me that the movie's done it already. But no, of course, when it comes to like the movie, they want to give you quite a bit of accurate things straight away, so in, you know, retrospect, the Flash ring being on Ezra Miller's Barry already isn't actually outrageously surprising. It's just like they want to throw everything at you in the movie already, especially since he's got a new Flash suit embedded with freaking Speed Force lightning. Like, that's a fact. We're getting that. It's said from the director himself. And I really do adore the new Flash suit, by the way. But this isn't really so much about that. Paul from DC World took a bunch of photos of, like, you know, we could see Wonder Woman on Central City buses and stuff like that. The Central City Children's Fund. I can't frickin' talk right now. There's Central City cabs. Just, you know, lots of set stuff that you would expect. To be honest, I feel kind of stupid. I should have gone up to London yesterday and taken some really good photos myself. But as you can clearly tell here from these tweets that are quoted in many articles and stuff, you get a good look at Sasha Calle's Supergirl suit all the way from the top to the bottom. Now, I really like it. Some people are saying that it's looking like a bit like a Spider-Man suit. It's like, haha, yeah. I mean, I get it. I mean, I do get it. It is, I even thought that without even seeing those jokes. But, you know, it is also very Supergirl accurate to this. I mean, there's not one version of Supergirl. Just like there's not one version of Batman. There's not one version of Superman. So this is very relevant. I think a lot of people who are hating on this need to kind of educate themselves on that because, and I'm not trying to sound pretentious or anything like that right now, but it's just frustrating seeing hate on something I haven't even seen yet and something that is accurate to the comics, if you know what I mean. But regardless, I think she looks great. As I mentioned in my video yesterday, it's very obviously accurate to the vibes of what Snyder set forth with his design. So, in my opinion, Sasha Calle's Supergirl, if she is indeed the Lara Lane Kent version, which she most depicts here in this adaptation, I'm not saying Henry Cavill's Superman gets erased, but whatever Barry does with traveling back in time, that's how she comes to fruition. Just like how we've got Michael Keaton in these set photos. He's kind of hard to see at times. By the way, we've got I mean, he's in Bruce Wayne mode, and we get to see a badass car. Like, I'm not a car guy, by the way. I can appreciate cars, but I'm not a car gearhead, if you know what I mean, so I do not know what type of car this is, but it's a Bruce Wayne car, and that's what I know for sure. So as you can see, Sasha Calle's Supergirl has got like these little ab bits in it. It's interesting because it's not poised as like the typical ab armor as what you'd see on Henry Cavill's Superman. The only thing I would have changed is, you know, those little blue shiny bits going down her thighs, or maybe even the in bits, that the little V that goes into her abdomen. I was thinking maybe I would have added red tints there, just like some of the comic book versions, but then again, maybe they didn't want to do that just because, just like the Spider-Man comments, maybe that would have added too many red accents that would have made it look more like a, obviously it's not a Spidey suit, but you know what I mean, something that was too reminiscent of that. But I don't know, I do like the blue, I really like this. I'm just trying to think of anything I would have improved, and that is maybe just slight red strips in the strips that are already visible that are blue on the thigh area of her suit. I don't think red boots were necessary because, you know, you have to be careful. She's already got such a big red upper torso area. So maybe adding too much red on the lower half would have been too much red. And I agree with that. So no red boots, but maybe just, yeah, the red little shiny strips there coming down her thigh should have maybe been red. That's the only change I would have made. Other than that, I think she looks great. Obviously, in most of these photos, the cape isn't on, but there are very, very blurry ones that where the cape is on. And I want to address another thing, I suppose, before getting to the end of this video. Some people were saying in my video yesterday, this isn't, goddammit, a Flashpoint movie. Like, stop what? Like, I'm not saying this is an outright Flashpoint movie. What people need to understand is this has been very much so quoted as an inspired, you know, it's inspired by Flashpoint. It's not called The Flash Flashpoint or anything like that. It's called The Flash movie as of right now. But don't make any mistakes. This movie still is completely taking a lot of beats from Flashpoint. Barry is traveling back in time, most likely to save his mother, except in this version it's creating a massive multiversal kind of thing rather than a straight up new branch timeline, which I think it will initially, but like it's also going to get into many multiverse factors. So the main beat of Barry's inspiration for traveling back in time will be very Flashpointy. There will be many changes, obviously, Michael Keaton's Batman, amongst many other changes like Sasha Calle's Supergirl. So clearly, yes, it is still Flashpoint inspired, but what I need to remind people of, because a lot of people forget, is just that, don't forget, adaptations are adaptations. They're not copy and paste. So even Andy Muschietti even said himself, and I quote, by the way, different version of Flashpoint than you're expecting. And even a few years ago, and I guess the arguments could be made that, oh, they've changed plans since then. He said that it is loosely based on the Flashpoint paradox storyline. And then he said it's a different version of Flashpoint than you're expecting. Most fans and I took that as, okay, so you're doing a Flash movie. He's clearly traveling back in time, as I've stated, saves his mom. Keaton's Batman, many changes spring from that. Sasha Calle's Supergirl, God knows what else. But at the same time, I wouldn't expect Arthur Curry's Aquaman up against Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, Atlantean, Themysciran, freaking Amazon war. Do you know what I mean? Like, so expect that kind of vibe. But like, I'm not going to go on about this anymore. I think you guys are intelligent enough to understand Flashpoint adaptation, maybe loosely, but also accurately in more ways, more so than other ways. And that's the way to look at it. That's basically the way to look at it. And back to Future Boba, guys. So as I was editing this video, literally, the Shazam Fury of the Gods suits fully in all of their awesomeness have been revealed. And wow, we all know that we got a little glimpse of Zachary Levi's updated Shazam suit, but this, wow, look at all of the other ones. I know I'm not on camera right now, but if you could see my face, jeez, they look so good. I mean, I would have expected the others to get the same texture, but wow, do they all look just so magnificent in their own ways, even though the same approach has been taken. I love all of the different colors. I think that's one thing that stands out, because obviously you have the similar vibe going on with Zachary Levi's one, albeit a little bit more darker red, but now we get to see what it looks like on the others with their own unique colors, and they just look so form-fitting. I think that's another satisfying thing that keeps echoing with the suit feedback of these new designs, is that they're a lot more skin-tight, a little less puffy looking, Stretch Armstrong, if you know what I mean. Now, another very interesting aspect to this photo, which some of you more than others may have realized or may not have realized, is that Grace Fulton, who played Mary Bromfield in Shazam, when obviously they all got Shazammed up, shall I say, into the Shazam family suits, well, she actually was portrayed by another actress despite being much older than all of the kids who were then, you know, had their glow up into the Shazam family suits. But obviously, Mary Bromfield, she is old enough to kind of, you know, still be herself in the very suit that you're seeing. So it's nice to see that Grace Fulton is actually maintaining her own look and her own role in the Mary Marvel or Lady Shazam kind of look, if you will, rather than her being portrayed by an even older actress. I think we can all agree that as a 24-year-old woman, that the Shazam suit aspect can be kept on her. And she looks very happy that she's the one in the suit now this time around. But other than that, guys, I'm going to end this video there. Just wanted to give an updated commentary about the set photos that are just littered everywhere, and I will provide more breakdowns as of when major stuff happens, I guess. You know, if we see Keaton in the bat suit in public, that would be insane and whatnot. But other than that, there's not too much more to say other than what I said in yesterday's video. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, definitely like it. But other than that, guys, check out my links in the top pinned comment, my Twitter, Patreon, and other places to follow me, such as my Discord server. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you people of the DC multiverse in the next video. Goodbye.